Let's go with a song.
The password is played. When I saw her walking down the street, she looked so fine, I just had to speak. I asked her name, but she turned away as she walked. All that I could say was, yeah, 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 yeah. All that I could say was, yeah, 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 yeah. All that I could say was, oh, no, no, I can't get you out of my mind. Oh, no, no, I can't get you out of my mind. No, no, tell me why you treat me so. I don't know you, but I can't let go. You're so fine with your sexy way. My heart sings and it sounds this way. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Let me kill the music. It's Thursday evening. It's 10 p.m. I'm Rich Lupi. This is the meetup. What's happening, everybody? I feel like my mic is too loud. We are Craigie G, always there with the cracker mixes. Plus, you're playing with all the toys today. Chippy, 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 chippy. Killing it. Well done, my man. Always a pleasure, bruh. Especially when you came with the Shante Savage. You know what I mean? That I Will Survive just took me back to the matinee, and you still used to have pizzas in the jawl. We still used to go to jawls. There's people who were allowed. Kamal Kes, good evening, Celeste. Welcome. Good evening. I actually want you on next week, Celeste. This is your official invitation. Um, Sherwin Saju, good evening. I don't know, I can only see blank. I don't know if the comments are blank or if it's something that's going on. So that was obviously Nunu by Liddell Townsend. So always, I try and play a number that the guest kind of, because the guest might, guest today, he isn't a music guy. He is not, if you ask him what's his favorite, he doesn't have it. But he always tells me that this Liddell Townsend has always been the one because we know this thing. And for me, it takes me back, bro, because when we used to stay, I used to stay in Newlands. We stayed in a semi-detached, and our neighbor, they went and they bought, I think a nightclub closed down, and they bought the speakers from the nightclub, right? And they had these massive nightclub speakers. Now semi-detached, you couldn't fit in the posy, so they put it in the passageway. So the back of the speaker was facing our house, and every morning from about upper 6, 7, Liddell Townsend every day. Nunu. What is the other one? All I want is you. Did I tell you about the time? Let me just warm it up with the tell you about the time. Remember this?
Did I tell you about the time when I fell in love? I was only 13, young, cute, and naive. I was walking through the mall when I saw this girl. She was thick, brown, and sexy. My heart skipped a beat when she came and stood right next to me. I tried, but could not speak what came over me.
I can't play the music, because they're gonna cut me because they're always cutting. They cut you, yeah. They cut. I saw they cut out Craigie G. So good evening, Roland Cracker is in the house. Yo, bro, good to see Rolly's around. My favorite DJs are here, so I'm nervous. It's like like stage for the first time. What happened this week? Um, so Bill Cosby is coming out. Bill Cosby is coming out. Hey, Bill Cosby is coming out. Who else is there? R. Kelly is also operational. And then Jacob is going in. Jacob's going into jail. That's gonna be strange. That's gonna be strange. I don't know if he's gonna go. I don't know. Imagine now. How is he gonna pull it? Because the thing is, when you come into jail, you have to still pick up your number and you still have to get into the vibe. But if you're coming in as Jacob, you're coming in with the numbers, you already got a machine arm already. That's the machine gun. You're already the main guy. You're gonna come there. They're also gonna respect you. You know, you come in the front, they're gonna start calling you daughter or Baba. And the Pali the Pali has like a $500,000 watch. $500,000 watch, bruh. And you buy in a jail. Come on, cuz. You must buy with cartoons of guys. Brandos between cartoons. Got a cartoon of guys. That's when you earn graphene, I always used to have cartoons. And if you buy a 30s, you used to call it coffins. A cartoon of coffins. Hope you can count us. So, but I think you'll be alright in there. I don't know. Celeste thinks my sound isn't loud enough. Let's see who's there. Novi. How's it, Novi? I only see new names. I don't know these names. Melanie Tiramani, welcome. I poured myself a bit of a my Coke is a little bit too strong today. You know, it's the bottom of the Coke, and then you just pour all into the glass. It's a bit of a catcher there. So we got here. Drinks are allowed. Yes, bring your drinks. Who else is here? I saw somebody, Charlotte Smith, Yandi Koza. Welcome everybody. Get comfortable. It's gonna be chill. So remember, you know the story. It's a live show, and Christians are welcome. So if you got anything that you Celeste is saying the sound is fine, and it was actually a phone that was not loud enough. Celeste. Hey, all right, so I'll leave it right there. She's a DJ, so she know what I mean. This volume isn't for them. So yeah, if you got any questions, don't be frightened. Shoot the questions on. What happened in our country? We're under 20,000s with regards to the COVIDs. 20,000s. That's a lot, bruh. Do you know what I'm saying? And I was looking just now by region. Durban only got 1,000 something. Joburg is on 11,000 something. So I don't know. KZN, I think maybe you're also treating this thing like a lie. You can't only have 1,000 people. There's somebody you're not telling. You must tell, bruh. You're trying not to tell, or you're trying to maybe keep the numbers low somehow. But tell the truth, guy. Marvin Hoskins, welcome. Thank you. Celeste woke up for the show. Thank you. So I told her she must come on next week. She got mad nervous. I can see her comments here. Kelly's in now. So okay, cuz, long time. I thought you were graphing a caboose or something. I haven't seen you in ages. Well behaved in Durban. I don't believe that, because I was in Durban. I came down to Durban, and you'll know the story. I came to Durban, and when the Cyril Shune, no more tops, I didn't even panic. You know, in Joburg, when they say no more tops, you have to go and buy tops. You have to go and buy like cases of tops. I never buy all that. I was alright with it. In Durban, I just knew. I just went there by Timo. Timo had tops every day. I bought 2 quarts a day during a lockdown. That's how Durban is. Anyway, I want to get our we sanitize with Belgravia. But that's the truth, eh? Have you noticed that? Alcoholic also not getting COVID. You don't get, if you're alcoholic, you don't get COVID. Because I think as you just say now, because you know the others when they're talking, the more alcohol that goes in that wet lip. I've spoken about the wet lip is the main thing. That wet lip is the scariest thing for me, is the wet lip. And the wet lip O's are the O's that come the closest. Because dry lip O's don't get that close. The wet lip, bruh, the more he tops, then he's on you. Like, how long? Me, I love you. And I'm like, bruh, the wet lip, cuz. The wet lip is I can feel it. The wet lip is hitting me. But then what he's doing, he's dropping cane. He's hitting the cane straight on the wet lip. The cane is hitting him from here. It's sanitizing him all the way down. When he pisses, he's pissing sanitizer. That's how sanitized this bra is. He's dropping Belgravia. We carrying on. We are rubbing our hands and washing our hands for 20 seconds for woo. These bras are sanitizing from the inside out. Think about it, bra. Has any alcoholic that you know got COVID? Not one of them. They don't get COVID. It's not for them. They're killing it. So anyway, Trey, the wet lips are the dangerous ones, guys. So that's my public service announcement for today is beware the bra with the wet lip. And you see him when he's talking, he's wetting the lip. He's going like to say, "Hey, bra, bro," and then when it's the bro, it's like like you ever stood behind a kumbi when it starts all that black pus, or I don't know what comes out the exhaust pipe. But one day I was walking to Graf and I walked past the back of a taxi and the old started it in the rank and that black thing hit my pants. My pants were shoelaced forever. That pants belong to the world now. He's calling alcoholic. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying beware. So I'm gonna bring my guest in now. So you'll know the story. If you're here in the comments, add all the claps. I need to see the claps because the thing is, we the guys of claps. If there's no claps, it kills our vibe. So all the claps in the comments. Let's see it. Click share there. Let add other people. So let me find Mahone here. Let me find Mahone. Mahone's not coming. Oh, there's Mahone. Okay. Let me see, ladies and gents, all the way from the bottom of our screen. It's Mr. Jason Goliath. Let's add some more horns. He flew back out. Sorry. He flew back out. Sorry, bruh. Oh, shit. Oh, wait, what kind, bruh?
What kind, son? Beware the guy with the wet lip. That's the problem with those gags are. You got me picturing a very specific human being. I'm blaming somebody that's not here to defend themselves. They're probably not even drunk right now because there's no alcohol. But I feel like you and I have a very similar picture of the same person also. Let's move on.
Name it.
Nope.
Over here, we name names. This is a names show. That's the...
Nope. That's how Twitter started. Nope. No.
Me, I take names, bruh. Me, I even named those that were poor when they were lighties and our main nose. We named them. You don't care.
Nope. No, have fun.
Oh, wet lip smarks are holding you. You see a wet lip never wants to talk from far. Have you noticed that?
Wet lips never tells you he loves you when he's not wet on the lip. He never tune you. When wet lip doesn't have the moisture, wet lip is not emotional. The wet lip needs that lubrication for his heart to, because wet lip is the guy that tells you he loves you. And he perspires on his head. His head is also moist. Lip is wet. Yeah, the cane starts coming out.
Don't mind laying that sweaty head on your cheek as well. You know that.
I'm not getting involved. Give
you some greetings because using your phone. So can you see the comments there? Can you see them now? Can you see anything popping up?
I see one or two. I appreciate that. I look better live than I do on TV. I'll let all the makeup artists know that they are failing me and that I look better with my own cholesterol glow than I do on TV. Let me not come too close. The beard is a bit dry. It's 10 o'clock. You know, the beard will stop from about 7.
Yeah, no, that's the... We don't mind, bro. We don't mind. Someone's asking, are you going to finish the painting behind you? There's no paint.
You're a married man. You don't need details on your things. You know what I mean? You don't need... It's finished. It's finished. Very safe, this painting. Don't worry. Nameless. Lacquer.
It wasn't like that before. That's how it is now only.
I put my pinky up for that one.
Our creators had a wet corner. Hey, but I remember that time that Brian had a wet, the dry lips. We in Grahamstown. What is his name?
Why is it so difficult to tell that person, listen, we can see that I don't know if you're fasting, I don't know if this is a religious thing, but why is it so difficult to say you've gotten sent there, just if you don't mind? Just
it's like he's dying on stage, but for like the whole day. You know, but when you're dying on stage, the whole time you're just like, yeah, so
nothing will make your mouth drier than dying on stage. Nothing makes you more vulnerable to COVID. Yo,
you become dehydrated, bro. You even start thinking of the times when there's water in your life. You start thinking. Remember one time I was drinking water. It was the best days.
I just start thinking. I start thinking like, what did I do wrong? Like, you know, why is karma doing this to me now? Like, I start because I believe in karma. So I'm always like, where did I flop today? Like, where was I not kind? And why is it coming back to me right now? And it's the worst feeling in the world.
That's the thing. I always say this. Like when I have a really shit day, I have the best time on stage. like if I'm having a cuck day, like,
Yeah.
oh, bro, like people are fighting with me, like shit's not going my way. And I'm like, tonight I'm going onto a stage. I'm like, I have that. If I'm having a great day, I'm like, wait, tonight.
That's because you can't be too loose with comedy. Because a great day puts you in that confidence space. Hey, I'm going to show them now. You know what I mean? Comedy is like playing FIFA. You keep quiet until the final whistle blows. You don't give predictions. You don't call goals. You don't celebrate too hard when they laugh in the middle. You know what I mean? Because comedy can take your feet at any time, can two-feet you.
Have you? That's the thing, though. That's true, though. But have you ever? Do you have that confidence?
What
comedy?
confidence?
Of like, it's fine. Tonight, I'm okay. Don't worry about me. I'm there.
You know me, I never have that confidence. I think that deep down, I'd like to believe that I have that confidence, but also at the same time, in the early days, I suppose the only good piece of advice Mal Miller ever gave me was he said, listen, butterflies are good. If you stop getting nervous, if you stop doubting yourself before you go on, it's like skydiving. The day you're not nervous is the day you're done. You must stop doing the thing, go and find another art to perform. It's like skydivers, when they stop being nervous, they stop double checking the reserve chute, they get a bit confident, they start wanting to make those loopity loops. Next thing, bah.
Now, if he had to take his own advice, when do you think he should have wrapped up? He should have wrapped up a long time ago, bro.
Yeah, you know,
Bali.
the flip side of that is I hope that when I get to my 70s, I'm still capable, physically and mentally, because it doesn't matter what jokes I make about Mal Miller. I haven't seen the Bali die ever. Have you ever seen Mal die in your life? Ever?
No.
Not even once.
He's undieable.
In life and on stage. Just surviving.
Elvis Pillay in the house. What's happening? What's the T3 Motor Show family? What's happening, Elvis Pillay? I'm sure that's one of Jason's homeboys. Anything to do with cars and motors and shows?
I don't know. I don't know. If what I do want to know now is who's emceeing if I'm not there. What's going on?
Yeah.
I don't know what the T3 Motor Show is.
Family. So yeah. So well, Andy's asking you to get nervous before you go on stage, and like you say,
every time.
Yeah.
Every time, and I think it's the same for you, Rishlu, where you only find after your first laugh. Like you only start remembering, oh, I'm actually good at this thing. Oh, this is actually what I do. This is my job, this thing. After your first laugh. Before your first laugh, it's you can be anybody. You can be anybody. Yeah.
You know that because like I always remember like you saying to me, I think it was at the Boxster one day, you said to me that you can see like that minute when I decide to start being funny from now.
Yes.
And it's the same thing. It's like, because you first have to get out with your fishing rod and just start. It's like, let's see what happens if I throw this thing in the water.
Yes.
You do 2 minutes on stage and leave. You see me do it. Hi, good evening. Oh, you didn't like that greasing pot. All right, sharp.
I'm out. I've seen you do that. I'm a guy that's never done that. I've never walked off. I've never walked off early, and I've never. Okay, I was asked to walk off once, but I mean that was a very sensitive gig, and I said one or two sensitive things, and they were overly sensitive. As you must know, I'm quite a corporate comedian myself, but I've never had to pull the parachute yet.
Yeah, when I pulled the parachute, I think we were out in the time we were out in Kimberley, and we played it like I think it was a bar type of a thing, and we were doing
day,
like
you see,
it's a weird.
That day reminds me, because now it's a contradiction of what you just said. So you said generally when I'm having a lucky day, I go on stage and have a bad time. When I'm having a bad day, that day you're having a bad day. It was a bad trip. The trip was bad. We booked a 500-seater, 50 people came. We had to move to the smaller venue the first night. The second night, it was, now the hangover and it's Kimberley. And then we were performing outdoors and next to a fire and there were things. And then you were not in the mood, my friend. You had a bad day. You went on, did 2 minutes. I'll never forget 2 minutes.
The weirdest part about that, though, is that I said, my mouth said goodbye, but my brain wasn't ready for it.
You shocked yourself.
Normally, I shoot from the hip. Like, I never plan to play. I shoot from the hip. I'm like, okay, cool. whatever happens, happens. And I said good evening, and I didn't really go with the good evening part. And I was like, okay. And I said something else, and I said, okay. So I said, I'll reach your point, and I was thanks you. And my mouth said it, so my ears heard it, and I was like, oh, so I said that. And then I was like,
I was like, 2 minutes.
I've only done that twice. That time I didn't do it on purpose. The other time I did it on purpose. But there's another question for you. Do you enjoy acting, and would you give up comedy for that?
I really like acting, and I don't consider myself an actor. So I consider myself a comedian. I'd like to, just so that I have some sort of focus. But I also just get to enjoy things. So it's not something that I'd consider, because I don't think it's ever something that's going to happen. I'm never going to have to stop making jokes so that I can pursue a serious career in acting, just because I believe it doesn't matter how serious I get about acting. I can always do comedy, and comedy's become more than just stand-up for me. I think the pandemic helped me with that, is that it's not just stand-up, it's all things. Anything that where I'm making the audience laugh is I'm in. I want to try. I just like the way it feels. I just like the way it feels to make people laugh.
Yeah. And me too. It's like comedy is not just a thing. It's
What is Craig asking? Yeah, have you ever been booed off stage? Not even once. Not even one time. But as I say that, I struggle to remember somebody being booed off stage. Like, comedy audiences, you got to really, really, really upset them and offend them. So we've had one or two things where now it's an altercation and the audience, they're about to fight each other and the comedian was wrong. But other than that, it's not like the movies. Audiences actually feel sorry for you. And we enjoy a death. Let's be honest. Nobody enjoys watching somebody die more than comedians. Comedians, yes, you can have the cuttest day ever. You watch one of your bras, take it in the teeth. The best feeling. The best feeling. No mercy. Because it happens to all of us. All of us.
Because I do this, like I always go to those open mics and the things, and everybody's like, "Yo, you're very supportive of the up and comings." I'm like, I'm very supportive, but I'm here to see all this.
It's cruel and funny at the same time. The best.
Because the thing is, we used to the thing, so you can see it coming. You're like, hey.
No. We so used to it. We go call our bras before the O's about to walk on. He said, "This is not about to go on." I saw that look in his eye. We don't want to miss this. We go call other comedians to make sure there's an audience of comedians laughing at the top of their voices every time your gag bombs, with just enough time in between. Because even our laughter at your bomb, we must give you just enough time to realize how big the death was. And as soon as you realize, then we will activate laughter.
You know that one, because you're right though, because you're like, hey. You don't, hey, all of a sudden you're like, it's John Green. You're like, hey, bro, listen.
Hey, there are a lot of John Greens, my friend. Lots of John Greens.
You know what the key sign is when they start laughing. So last week I saw 2 rhinos, right? It was like, way lily. Carvin says he was booed. Carvin?
No.
How, bro?
Carvin, you gotta give us. At the New York Comedy Club. Yeah, but Carvin,
not a New York Comedy Club. At New York, remember? In Durban, there's a place called
Durban.
New York.
Carvin, you're put off in Durban.
No, wait. Maybe he was doing.
That's an urban legend. I don't believe that. That.
The first time I saw Jason live was at a Bad Sense, and I wasn't prepared for his caca jokes.
Nobody ever eats. And I still do them. I'm immature. I still do them, and people recently told me when I started, can't always just do diarrhea jokes. It's a bit hack. It's a bit, toilet humor. Toilet humor is like the easy way. You know what I mean? I bought my first house with caca jokes. Okay, caca jokes. No, never listening. There was nobody else here for me to blame. Nobody said that.
Yeah. Maybe a farting jokes I might take offense to.
Why? A farting joke? Farting joke is the lead up to the caca jokes. I start you light.
But if
I'll start you with gases before we move to solids. You know what I mean? It's a normal science in comedy, boy. Science.
Yeah, because like you did keep it going for a while, and
I still do it
for not bending. Yeah, you did it the other day.
Ask me why I still do caca jokes 10 years later. So I'll tell you something interesting. What's the date today? Today's the 1st, right?
Yeah.
On the 3rd of July, which is Saturday, I celebrate 10 years in stand-up comedy. 10 years I'm still doing caca jokes. 10 years.
I'm waiting to hear Covens. Let me give you a horn. The 10-year horn. Yes, that's the 10-year horn.
I thank you.
So now that you're celebrating the 10 years, let's go back to the first year. Let's there, Carvin told a joke about the Boston bombing. Hey, I got hate mail. I got a hate mail for that as well. I told a joke about people being bombed in the Boston Marathon and on the day of the bombing. Bro, it comes up as a memory on my Facebook. I said the Boston Marathon ended with a bang. And then I got inbox for people that were like, lady says to me, I hope your family die. And everybody lost.
I stay away from those. Those are too topical, too soon. Mm-mm. I'm too aggressive. So now if I do piss you off to that point, and now I don't believe you should be pissed off, now I want to fight you. No, I've left that life behind. I'm 40 now. I'm too old to be booed.
So let's go back. Let's go to before comedy. Who was Jason before comedy? Let me first give you an idea. For me, I have this thing, right, where I see people and I know that I'm gonna know this all. So in life, it's happened to me too many times for me to be coincidental, and I feel that it probably happens to other people as well. So for me, it's always teasy about this, and you always didn't take it very lightly when I call you the mayonnaise man, right? That's literally the one joke I've always said, and you never ever once did you go with it. Not once where you're like, yeah, but you always didn't like it, right? And for me, it feels like an insult, but I just left it because if you feel like it's an insult, that's your thing. But actually, what it was is when I first saw you, you were doing, I think it was a macro ad, or you did an actual mayonnaise ad.
I was the Cross and Blackwell Mayo man.
And you were running down the aisle.
And I was in a spandex outfit, dressed like a mayonnaise superhero. And I was just ambushing people in malls, and if you had Cross and Blackwell in your thing, I had a whole camera crew with me, and we would sing. So this was before I started comedy, correct? And the funny part about it is, I think what you've learned about me since is that I hate mayonnaise. So therefore, I hate mayonnaise. Like mayonnaise, when you don't like things, nah? Then you get things that you really don't like. Then you get things that you absolutely hate. So like when you go to a restaurant, it's the first thing you look for. Mayonnaise, I absolutely hate. So I hate mayonnaise so much that when you say the mayonnaise man, I don't even want to be associated with this thing. But they were paying me so much bloody money, and I was so damn bloody broke. I love mayonnaise. I live for mayonnaise, and I hate it. I really do.
So for me, I always use it as a reference because for me, because even when I'm moving with my fro, she'll look at somebody and she'll go, like, there'll be 1,000 people, and she'll just say, like, that guy there, he looks like somebody that you will know.
We all do that.
99% of the time, there's a vibe of people that you know. We kind of have this. And when I saw you as a mayonnaise guy on the TV, I was like, I'm looking at you, I'm like, this guy looks so familiar, but I know I don't know this guy. And my fro says, that time we were still Joel, and she's like, who is this? Who is that guy? I'm like, I don't know this. Oh yeah, but I think I know this. Oh, but I don't. I know, it looks like I know, but I don't know it. And then it wasn't very long after that, I saw you at Jets. That's the first time I ever saw you.
I remember that night.
Skin. I was like, there's this bro. And I'm like, I knew I'm gonna know.
There's the Mayo man.
And you're with Pops, like years older than you.
Yeah.
But you greeted me randomly, and I came. You just greeted me, and then you're like, "Hey," and you greeted me like you knew me, and I was like, "I knew it. This, bro. I knew this, bro. He's one of these."
That's how I conned my way into comedy. I just started greeting everybody like the old bras. You don't remember me? Come on, let me buy you a drink. Comedians were so broke at the time that the sentence "Let me buy you a drink" means we're friends for life now. If you accept my drinks, now you do know me.
So that's why I always use the mayonnaise thing, because it was never like an insult. It was kind of for me like resonant. It was a term of endearment, because I was always like, this, bro, you don't know the actual story behind the mayonnaise thing, because for me that was the thing. And
have you ever heard the story of the boy who cried wolf?
Absolutely, I told it yesterday.
Yeah, so the boy, that's why I took offense. because everything you say is offensive. So when you do say something nice, nobody believes you. We assume you're just being an asshole, and we don't believe you. You are the boy who teased off.
That is true though. It's like it's like when you go to Richly show, I sit far away because I don't want to be as funny. It's
You see?
sorry,
You
Shinoz.
see? You see?
And I know Shinoz from school.
You see?
Graham said he drove from Durban just to watch Jason at the Collide Comedy Club. Best trip ever. You are a legend. Bruh.
Graham, you are a legend, my friend. I appreciate that. The fact that you took on Van Riemen's Pass, tall roads for me. That's it. I salute. I'm glad you had a good time, brother.
Yo, and this Oya was trolling at my neighbor. He didn't come check me even when I was eating.
Hey, swag, Graham.
You know, we stayed India. We then shifted around. We shifted India. Maybe that's why. So I know Graham. So before you did comedy, where were you? You were doing obviously the ads and stuff. And
So I'll give you the quick summary. So I left school. I went to study marketing. I became a marketing manager at a macro store. Weirdly, that you mentioned was in a macro ad. Just while I was studying, I worked for DSTV and they had a mic, so I started emceeing stuff, and then somebody taught me, and then I was the guy that made announcements in macro, and then I became marketing manager at macro, and then I did sales. Well, no, then I became a sales rep for like the electronics company that poached me from macro. Then I did sales facilitation and sales training. Like I trained and at the time, must have been like, around 2003, 4. I trained all the Hi-Fi Corp staff, sales staff in the country. I used to open their stores. It was a long thing. And then I opened an insurance brokerage. Before that, before opening insurance brokerage, I was a casino host on the MC on the casino floor at Empress Palace, while it was still Caesars, and then it changed while I worked there. Then I sold insurance. Then I opened an insurance brokerage because I didn't want to sell for somebody else. So then I opened my own brokerage. Then 2008 came, and it was not a pandemic, but a financial crisis. And my business by 2010 went bang so bad. There were flames everywhere. And then I started comedy in 2011 and fought lawyers, still fight lawyers from that time, but kind of left that life behind me because I'd found something that made me happy. Where before I just thought money was going to make me happy, and then money doesn't make you happy. And then I found something that makes me happy.
Okay, so 2011. That was when you got into it.
That's when I started. Yeah.
I asked everybody the same question. Like, did you? Like for me, I was always into comedy, but I didn't think I was going to be that into comedy that I'll be literally inside of it. But were you funny? Did you think you were funny? Did people think you were funny? Do you have this aspiration to ever like be on stage? Was it ever?
Yeah. So like it's more than, as I look back, so people always thought I was funny, and I always liked the attention. I think that's what comedians struggle to admit, is that we like making people laugh, but we also like the attention. And I'd always liked making people laugh, but I'd always believed that there's a very big difference between performing comedy and being funny around the braai, which there is, but I believe that I wouldn't be able to do both, and that I was good at the one, braai funny, but not stage funny. And then it was serving Yesi on, we were doing a Castle Lager ad. I was the Castle Lager guy at the time. And my business had just gone down, and the Castle Lager ad was like the savior, you know what I mean, to get me out of the doldrums. And he said to me after we shot, he was like, we just met, and he was like, hey, bro, you're so funny. Try stand up. And I was like, no, man, I'm braai funny. And he was like, no, man, I'm not saying you must become a comedian. I'm just saying try stand up as a hobby. I think you will really like it. And that's what made me start.
So that was your turning point. So you didn't ever consider it before that exact moment?
I'd loved going. So I always went to the underground as many times as I could. I'd always watched comedy, you know what I mean, and been a fan of it. But I honestly didn't think that I could do that thing. I think like 2008, Chris Rock came. And I do remember being at Sun City in the last row, the cheapest seat. And I remember a very clear moment where he made me laugh so hard that, like, you get that stomach pain, but like to the point that it was uncomfortable to the point that all I needed was just give me 30 seconds of silence, bruh, just so I can release. Like that's how hard he was hitting in that show. When I looked around, there were 5,000 people in the same physical discomfort as I was, and they didn't have a weapon. He had a microphone, and he was telling us jokes. He was making us laugh, and he had us all incapacitated. And my brain went, "That's power. I want to see if I can wield that type of power. You're not threatening us. You got no weapons on us, and you got us all bent over at your whim." I was like, "Oh my goodness!" So my brain, because I'd already been emceeing, I was like, "I've never seen anything like that."
Right.
And then because it was so unbelievable, it's like watching Cristiano Ronaldo. My brain is not the type of brain that if I'm good at soccer, watching Cristiano going, I can be Cristiano. You know what I mean? My brain is very realistic, unfortunately, and works with the experiences that I've got. So I was like, I can never do what Chris Rock does. And then I tried it, and I was like, oh, Chris Rock is not coming out because he wants to hurt us. He's coming out because he wants to try and make us laugh as hard as he can and have fun. He's having as good a time as we are, and if he's not having as good a time as we are, he's not doing the job right. And it's a fascinating thing for me that so from that moment, and I think that was what really started the attraction. And now it's embarrassing the blessings that we get from doing our work, which is our favorite thing. Which is also embarrassing how little work there is and how the pandemic has killed us all. But you know what I mean. When times are good, being on stage with a full house that's feeling you, going with you, there's easily no better feeling than that.
That's true, because I mean, I also actually watched Chris Rock, but I used to watch John Vlismas actually. John Vlismas was
at the Underground. John, I still regard John as one of the greatest comedy minds our country's ever seen.
Yeah, but think about
me and Carvin both.
I used to watch John Vlismas when I was 16 years old because my auntie used to do his hair and makeup at the Playhouse. So weekends when he was there, I was like in standard 7 or 8 or whatever, and on weekends I would go watch Mark Banks and John Vlismas, and I used to be like, "What the hell is this?" And the thing is, at that time I was like, it was too much.
Yeah, no, you can't understand. It's like a magic trick. It's like that's impossible.
And that time Mark Banks was doing gags about mathematics and
early Mark Banks was the best.
Just like nice. And then John was doing gags about like very like not like how hard he became afterwards.
Yeah,
it was hardcore, but it wasn't as hard as he wasn't talking about Satan and that type of thing. He was talking about like growing up and just like things that were kind of relevant. And that was like early days, and then I didn't really see a lot of it for a while. I was still watching and listening to comedy. Then I also went to check out Chris Rock as well. When he came through to Durban.
Yeah,
I was sitting like in the third row, bro.
I was broke, bro. I sat right at the back.
The first 10 or 15 minutes, I didn't even hear. You know what I mean? Because I was just like, whoa, what? If I jump now, I can. If I take,
I can get him. I'll get him before the security do. Or before the security get to me.
Definitely, I can get on this, bruh. And I watched him, and I think I was just starting to dabble a little bit with comedy that time. And I did comedy in Durban for like 2 years, and then I moved to Joburg, which was weird because I wasn't really strong in comedy. I was just getting into it anyway myself. And when I came to Joburg, it was just nicer. And I think I met you. I got you at 2010. I met you the following year.
Yeah.
At the thing, and then so from then you decided to play comedy. And then what was the next? So you played your first gig. You played the Underground, if I'm not mistaken.
Played the Underground, and then the Underground closed like a week before we were supposed to do our second spot there. And then in the interim, you just, the beauty about comedy was as soon as you've performed, comedians will speak to you at least, like you're a comedian, and will treat you well. And then I just started asking guys, but the thing is, my first time was one of those proper life-changing moments. I'd never felt that. And I was in such a low space in my life that I'd never thought I'd feel that again. You know what I mean? I'd come through so many tragic life things that we all go through. But mentally, I was in a space where I didn't know that type of euphoria, man. I don't know, that type of joy was even possible. So I became almost immediately obsessed with it, in the sense that it was like this, I don't know how to articulate it, but it was almost like that first hit was enough to have me addicted, and my brain simply went, that felt so good. Work as hard as you can to get that feeling as much as possible. Not like as a career, work in life so that you can go to comedy clubs as much as you can to get that feeling again. And unlike a drug, it delivers every time. It doesn't. You don't get used to it, I don't think.
Yeah, because like Deshana says something interesting. She says comedy has to be effortless, which is kind of like you're saying after you get into that thing. They look too nervous. They look too nervous, and the material has are struggling to laugh. They're trying too much. Shanaris, firstly, I want to say to you, thank you for coming, because I know when you do Pets Into, you're always there, and honestly, thank you for coming out and for supporting us. And I think it's like we all kind of, but you're right though. It's like we know when you see 10 comedians jump on stage, out of those 10, you look at the one, you're like, that's the guy.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, everybody has to go through that thing where it's like it's not easy. Some people start off like that and they get better, because standing in front of a crowd of people is not easy. It's not easy. Because I was thinking, like, for me, funny enough, I was thinking about it today. One of my favorite gigs was the first gig I ever did, which was a gig that Coven and myself put together, and was literally my friends there. And it was like 70 or 80 people, whatever, if not less or more. And when I think about it in retrospect, that moment, bro, that feeling, that, like you're saying, that I didn't want that night to end, but like I remember specifically, we went as many people as I can with me from there, and we all went down to Speakers down on Florida Road, and I said until Speaker closed. Like, I didn't want this. I wanted this to not ever end, bro. Like, I woke up the next day and I went to work, and I'm like, you guys are never gonna see me next week.
I'm out.
I was thinking, like, now, like next week Thursday, I need to get another gig. I need to find out how this thing works.
That's I can relate. I can relate so hard to that, because once you find it and are able to do it, and it's weird, because in retrospect, I felt like on that first night, I knew that I would be capable of it if I put some effort into it. Just like I feel like at the moment I can watch somebody for the first time who's doing it their first time and tell you how easy or not easy their journey is going to be. You know what I mean? It's something that I think my favorite comics are those that are born with the thing, more than, because there's lots of different genres, and everybody love your own thing, but for me it's those people that are born with funny in them. Like, they can't not be funny. Like, when I watch, like, Skulk is one of my favorite comics. When I watch Skulk walk onto stage, he's funny before he even gets to the mic. Pops has that same thing where before he even says a word, he's got funny in him. I watch Skumba, and even the parts that I can't understand, you know what I mean? So even when he's in vernac, I can't understand what he's saying, but I know it's funny. It makes me laugh. He oozes. He oozes. Those are my favorite types.
But don't you miss the fact that it's changed though? Like the whole, because our comedy became more. Because the more we started getting. Because when I started doing comedy, how many comedians were there? But even when you jumped in,
it was early days.
You everybody.
Yeah. Yes.
And now, like 12%. And what happened?
Yeah.
People flew in right into the whole thing. But before, when you went to a gig, there would be 10 comedians wherever you went.
Yeah.
You would be guaranteed to chill out.
At least.
You would be.
The world was different then. So, access to content was different then. Like, when we started, we weren't competing with YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. TikTok is huge. Comedy is huge on TikTok. We weren't competing with WhatsApp. You think about how many memes you get every day. So at the time, comics there weren't many gigs, number one, which was why the few comics that did exist were very thirsty for the gigs. So we were at every gig, you know what I mean? Because there wasn't enough stage time for everybody, but also the audiences were starved, because if you think about how much access the audience has to funny now, the audience watching this can watch any comedian in the world that's put out a special probably right now. You know what I mean? Whether it's South African, American, Australian, because we got access to all of that content, which came from that rush of everybody kind of wanting to come in. So it's changed. But to come back and answer your question, I can't allow myself to So I've got to accept the reality. It's a pandemic. It's not only a pandemic, but it's a pandemic that specifically affects what we do. You and I have absolutely no control over what's going to happen with COVID-19, other than the control we have in our households to physically distance and follow the rules ourselves and be as kind as we can to, those we interact with. But as far as the country goes, we've got no control. So my brain has to detach and go, because I spent the first 3 months almost in a depression when it was taken away, thinking that it's over and it's gone. And then hating every other format of comedy because I was looking for that satisfaction that comes from what only a live audience can give you. And then I realized that I've got to accept this pandemic because it's not going to go away, not because I'm uncomfortable at least. Then if I accept it, I've also got to accept what comes with that. And that's the sacrifice of life, which means I've got to stop looking for that as a satisfaction point. You know what I mean? It's like you're wishing for a chocolate, but you're trying broccoli and you're trying to convince yourself that the broccoli is chocolate. You're never going to win until you go, actually, let me dip this thing in cheese and then I can actually pellet some broccoli and then it's delicious. But it's not chocolate. It's a different delicious that I've now got to look for. So what I'm trying to do is be a comedian in my soul, but in order for my soul to survive, I have to admit that comedy's gone away for a while. So I've got to keep myself occupied and have fun doing other things. Because otherwise I just feel like I'm gonna end up in a heap. Fighting a battle that I can't win or influence, which I can't do. I have to, me, I've got to keep moving. I've got to keep doing. And if I'm not moving, my brain freaks me out.
Yeah, that being said, you've been very busy, bro. Like you and Paul Pops have been like literally the busiest people ever, bro. Like, because I'm like, yo, these are the fucking busy. They doing things, whatever the things are, they doing. You're doing it, bro. And
thank you, Doc.
Audible. So Graham says a high five after a gig is like a drug. It's also addictive. It is, eh? That not of approval is it's weird.
It's something you crave.
Yeah, it's an ego boost. There's an interesting one. How often do you write material? I know the answer to this one, but let's hear what lies you can conjure up.
No, you say it so they don't think I'm lying. You say
it. He doesn't write material. Yeah, I think
ever
wrote material.
I wrote in my first 2 years. So 2012, I think, was the last time.
I'm capping it at like, I will give you another year.
No, so I don't write material. You know that. My style is very conversational, and most of those conversations are in my head. And to give you an example of how serious I am about that, and how, I don't know if it's dangerous or what, but it's my style, and at some point you got to accept it. But like my last one-man show, Menstruation, which is on Showmax now, I must give myself a punt. Go and watch mine and Carvin's. We're on Showmax there. And Rishu's, I'm sure you've got 5 there. So go and Showmax, search Menstruation. But for Menstruation, which is, I think, an hour, 10 minutes, whatever it is, I don't have a single line written down. Like my first one-man show, which was like a best of all the gags I'd been doing on the circuit, I wrote the order of the gags down. So I at least had a set list for what I was going to do in that hour. Menstruation, I have nothing written down. No order, it's terrible. It's terrible, but then when I watch the show, I go, yeah, that's exactly how the show is supposed to be. So I don't write jokes. If something funny happens, I store it in my mind. I go on stage and try and make a story around it.
Corbin is also somebody that doesn't write, but do you not feel that not writing, you don't feel that you lose the idea sometimes? Like, for example,
every day,
I have 1,000 ideas a day, and then one comes out that you remember.
Now, for me, it's you know Lasizwe, nah? You know Lasizwe. So when I'm always fascinated by people who just do like things at a far, like Trevor Noah. You know what I mean? A rate far superior to anybody else. I'm always going, but what are you drinking? Like, what's in your jungle oats? You know what I mean? And Lasizwe shot up, and I got to interview him like within the first 2 years of his fame. And I said to him, my first question was, what number was the Doom video? And he said, what do you mean? I said, you got famous for that Doom video, Excelio Doom McDoomio. The world assumes that was the first video you ever posted. I'm asking you, how many YouTube videos did you make before that video went viral? And he said Doom was in the 160s. He posted 160 videos before Doom happened. So that means his ratio of success was 160 to 1 at the time. Now it's probably 2 to 1 videos do well because he knows how to do it. But we all want to, the first one must just go. So then ideas for me are exactly the same. The ideas I forget, if they are worthy of becoming a gag on stage, then they will come back to me. And you know that, yes, you forget a lot of stuff, but when you get something that your brain immediately starts building the links and making a chain and building the story, you can start positioning it. Then maybe you do make a note. And even I do that so that you don't forget. So that all of the others that you don't remember, those are the subpar gags. But your brain has to go through all of those to get to your average. So then for me, I go, the ones that I remember, those are the ones that are going to be blazing. Those are the ones that are going to stay. The ones I forgot, I've still got many years that I want to make jokes. They'll come back, I hope.
Okay, so the way that I differ in this in the same thing is that, like you're saying, if it keeps coming back, that it for me that rises to the top. So
Yeah.
it's like okay, there's all this noise and then that's at the top. But I have a high hit rate of things that are said. Do you know what I'm saying? So like things that are like you're saying middle or random or disappear or don't fit into, because a lot of stuff doesn't fit into what you do. So therefore you don't do it. So like you're like, this doesn't work with who I am to my audience, for argument's sake.
Yeah.
So I can't now come talk about why are birds so, they're like that doesn't
Come
work.
talking about the Boston Marathon bombing. You know what I mean? That doesn't work on my audience. I'm not going to touch that topic. I'm going to leave that for brave comedians like Calvin and Richelieu. You know what I mean? But at the same token, it's so beautiful that you get to that age where you accept that a difference of opinion doesn't mean one is right and one is wrong. It just means there's a difference of opinion, and we all different animals and we all find our thing differently. But like for me, when I look at you, for example, you're a funny guy. So I've watched you 100 times, Richelieu, walk on stage with no information, ask a question of the audience and make them laugh for another 20 minutes, by just asking questions and making stuff up as you go. So my fear for myself is that we get so good at comedy that we become like an Indian auntie in the kitchen. You can give an Indian auntie 3 banana leaves, she's going to make you something delicious. She cooks so well. She cooks so well that no matter what the ingredients are, it's going to be delicious. You're so funny that it doesn't matter what you say, it's going to be funny. Then how do I differentiate between funny and Champions League funny? So for me, I only want Champions League funny. You know what I mean? So even the top ideas I eventually try out, from those 1 in 10 becomes Champions League funny. So it's just my way of kind of filtering out and getting to Champions League funny.
He's gone. So his phone has reached Champions League of no battery. Let me read some. Let me Jason's forgotten golden gags. So Calvin, that's the thing, Calvin. So you saying Jason's forgotten the golden gags, can't even try and remember them. Okay, go on. That's true. Because I was saying the same about you. When you forget about the bits gone. There comes his back.
I don't know what happened there. It just threw me out immediately. Hey, no. Let me just make sure. No, I'm moving with a strong 34% here, boy.
This is interesting. We truly want to support every show of a comedian, but the worst thing for me is hearing the same jokes by the comedian. I really can't find a joke funny after the third time of hearing it.
Look, Shanaz, you're basically talking to me. I'll take responsibility for that. Richelieu hardly ever repeats gags. I repeat gags, and you are allowed to feel that way. Comedy is a very unique art. Unfortunately, our content doesn't live like Jay Something's content, where you can listen to that same Mikasa song every single morning if it's your favorite song. A gag, generally, you hear it once, it's done. I think I'm lucky because I don't write. It comes out different every time I say it. So the same ideas articulated. So I think I've got a little bit of a longer shelf life, maybe than most guys. But trust me when I say that it is the most difficult thing in the world to consistently come up with new bits, to the point that I go through phases where I don't want to perform because I don't feel like I've got anything new to offer. And then your debit orders come, and hey, nothing will motivate you like a debit order to motivate you like a debit order to go and tell a gag again. A debit order will make you repeat the set easy.
But you know what? Like Shana is also one, because I feel the same. We all feel the same way because you hear the same story twice. Even if someone tells you the same story about, hey, you heard about auntie so and so, she's divorced. You're like, I know the story, but when sometimes dudes be doing the same, but every time you hear it, they add a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? So some bits
Yeah.
are works in progress. So
Yeah.
what you're hearing sometimes is not the final product. It's still success. The idea goes however, and then at the end he's like, but now I just threw in a ghost. Now there's a cabbage. Now like, oh, there wasn't a cabbage before. So if you actual fans would realize like this, they've been following this guy, like, okay, I know this,
Yeah.
but this bit's growing.
Yeah.
But also if the bit's always the same, yes, it's one of the things.
No, it's frustrating for all of us, and I promise you, we know, and it's not comfortable, and you are within your rights. But it's a pandemic, and you must just keep supporting where you can.
Something about
It's a
now,
pandemic.
you're able to play the same bits in different spaces differently.
Yeah.
I guess that's what happens over time. Is like I can, because like the gag is just the idea. The gag is just like, okay, about this.
Absolutely.
How we get to the thing, how we play it can be different. Like we can.
But not everybody's like that. There are some comedians who run a script. They say their gags verbatim every time, and that's fine. It's a style. Jerry Seinfeld, I think, is one of those guys. You're going to hear the gag, the way he's written the gag every single time. Koala's a lot like that. He does the gag the same every single time because what fascinates them not only is the ability to make people laugh, but they love the science and the psychology behind making somebody laugh and building that set and, you know, placing particular words, breaths, pauses, exaggerations, and that they find that fascinating. I like having conversations. I like it to feel like, you know, when is he going to start telling the jokes? Oh, I've been laughing the whole time. You know what I mean? I had to add that in there before you slammed me. But yeah, and then also to answer Carvin's question, I saw Carvin commented there that I've forgotten golden gags. I have. I definitely have. And that's fine. It's like, I just feel like, cause I think it's going to be a wealth of, how do I describe it? I just feel like I don't place the currency on it too hard because I never wanted to stop. So I'm like, I'll always have gags. I'm always going to be funny. There'll always be a world to draw perspectives from, and I just trust that. And if I start freaking out, I feel like if I get too precious, my style doesn't allow. And you know, if it works, it works. And yeah, I'm still on the fact that I repeat gags.
So since I've discovered you're able to travel the world and stuff.
Weirdly, not a lie.
You've done a lot. Give us some insights of performing outside of our known norms. So like going to festivals in Canada and that type of stuff. How different is it playing to people that are not familiar with your everything, upbringing, with your way of life, with everything that is Jason Goliath, right? And then you go and you play in a space where nobody knows you, they've never heard of you. They're like, okay, give us that. Tell us about that experience.
You know, it's terrifying. Firstly, I think because you get in your head a lot and you overanalyze and overthink a lot of things. Particularly coming from South Africa, where our English is not always English. You know what I mean? We remix a lot of things. We've got a lot of South Africanisms. So, like, for the first time I went to Canada, for example, they've got so if you're doing shooting a special there, they'll organize a couple of fringe theater gigs for you to warm up and try the set out. And the first time I went up, I was introduced to a lady who was there to crit my set. Before I went on, they were like, hey, this is so-and-so. She's from the festival. She's here to crit your set. So I'm like, what do you mean she's here to crit your set? No, she's here to check your time because they're far more strict than we are with time. So if they say 8 minutes, they mean 8 minutes. They don't mean 8:05. And she's here to make sure that the audience is going to understand. So then this auntie watches the show. And I'm now, you're a bit nervous because now nobody's supposed to crit you. This is comedy. You come off and they get it. So she just goes, you see that word that you use there? We don't understand that word. So find another word, and she'll help you somewhere there to find a word that's going to land with the local audience. So they take it very seriously, which made it a lot easier because it takes a lot of pressure off those fringe gigs where you're seeing big comedians in the world tank. Dude, I'd never forget that the second time I went, my first warm-up gig, I'm supposed to go on number 6. I get to, the show starts, number 3 is on, I come back to the board, number 6 is scratched out. They've moved me to number 7. Colin and Michael Shea from Saturday Night Live are testing their show. They're going on before me. Then I'm like, what? You can't put both. They're doing a two-hander. before me. They get disrupted by the audience and just start teasing some drunk guy that was on the plane with them. The loss was so big that when they said thank you very much, the audience thought the show was over. Everyone in the room stood up and started leaving towards the door. And then the MC went back on and said, whoa, no, the show's still on. Please welcome South African Jason Goliath. Now people are standing up, people are at the bar. I'm in a different country, and you must go and make your jokes. It's wild, bro.
As an MC, he doesn't take the time off to recalibrate the room, nothing.
So as an MC, he can't because they've taken an extra 15 minutes and the people are already queuing outside for the next show. And he's still got, at that point, 3 comics to get through. So he doesn't care about you because it's a warm-up gig. So he doesn't care about you, and it's kind of sink or swim. And he also knows that, this auntie's here to crit you, but this is not judging you. You're already here. You know what I mean? You've been booked to play. So, no, they don't care, bro. It was rough. It was rough. But it's extremely intimidating, and then you realize that people are just the same around the world. Everybody's just the same. Everybody likes to laugh. We are different. And I think I explained that, if you go to somebody outside of your culture and you eat a very specific flavor that you're not used to, your ma never ever put this type of ilachi in the biryani. It's like everybody in the first world, they tell the same stories because they all come from the same type of households. They all went to similar schools, whether it's the UK, Australia, whether it's Europe, whether it's the US. That first world is full of very similar things. Their languages and slight cultural differentiators maybe, but their stories are all the same. Our stories are wild compared to theirs. Our energy is wild compared to theirs. Because when you listen to them, they all have the same cadence, they all have the same rhythm, they all practice and try to be the same. And then when we come, you immediately feel a difference. The energy we bring is completely different. The storytelling styles, it's completely different.
I get you. That's kind of the way I guess it feels, bro. Has somebody ever stole a joke from you?
Look, my jokes are hard to steal, but I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
It happens, and for me, it is what it is. The only thing that annoys us is not so much somebody stealing a joke; it's somebody who steals your joke and does it better than you. That's when you start getting annoyed. Is if somebody steals your joke and the audience is praising them more than they're praising you. That's globally. That's the only time a comedian's gonna put up his hand and go, that's my joke. When I was doing the joke better than you did the joke, or on a bigger stage that you were ever on. You know what I mean? It's hard.
Right. And it's your butts.
Yeah.
Damn. Like I've seen dudes do my butts, but they look at you and down. Then they do the punchline. Like bastards.
It's very hard to. If you do my jokes now, you must talk about my wife. You're not even married. You know what I mean? No, it doesn't. My stories are too personal most of it.
Yeah, but I also steal anything. They will steal it, bruh. So is there anybody that like in comedy that you kind of who have you admired? Who was your guy when you came in there? I'm sure there was somebody that you're like, that's the guy.
What do you mean, local?
Locally, yeah, locally.
Locally, I admire a lot of guys. I admired and still admire a lot of guys. I think when I came in, obviously I thought that Vlismus was God. I was like, this man, he's not of human. And it was just because, I mean, we very quickly learned to do a lot of the tricks that John was already doing from watching John to be able to unpack why it just looked like magic to me. But I still, coming in, I was fascinated by Vlismus. I was obviously at the time, Trevor had just moved to the States. I think we were all fascinated by Trevor. I've always loved Gola. I'd known Joey, so I was big friends with Joey. And then, and I even got to give Carves, not even got to give, but I got to give Carves props, because when I first watched Carvin, I just felt like, God, I wish I took it that seriously. Like, I wish I saw the potential that he sees. Like, because when Carvin does the thing, it's like, the first time I watched him, I was like, what type of color is this now? Really? Like, what commitment?
Did you see Carvin for the first time?
The first time I saw Carvin, because you guys spoke about Carvin for a long time, I can't even remember. We've done too many gigs. I can't even remember. But I think it was one of the Durban. No offense, but I can't remember. Oh, and also Neil Green, the greatest loss to South African comedy in the last 10 years. The greatest loss to South African comedy. Neil Green.
I don't think he lost. it's all the same at the moment. So
No, it is, but still, you know what I mean.
yeah, he'll be back. He'll be
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
He's-
But yeah,
he's-
Gola Rasdin, I admired all those guys, man. Kags, the younger guys in Dumiso, I'd watched him at Heavyweight Comedy Jam before I started. I thought I still think Dumiso is great. Robbie, and then you. I don't think anybody hosts like Richelieu Benoit.
Ah, shit, thanks, bro. But that's weird, right? It for me. The hosting thing is cool, but it takes away from comedy, so nobody notices the host.
If the host is doing his job right, that's the way it's supposed to be.
That's what
The
I'm saying.
problem, the problem is I find hosting less pressure than doing a set, and I think you do too. And then it's easy to take the road less traveled, and then before you know it, you're known for taking that road. Now you've got to rebrand and reposition, and to do that for yourself as well is hard.
Nobody knows. Nobody's like, the host was the guy. Because and the
But
thing
they're
is,
not supposed to, yeah.
and you don't want to be the guy, which is also weird. It's like,
Yeah,
you want to keep the energy. You want to let
got
everybody
a
have,
job to do.
you're the teacher.
Yeah, yeah.
All the time. So we need to, like, for me, it's like I wanted to always be the host, but I can't. Like when I get to a place, I'm like, when they say, do you want to host? I just say, yeah. I'll
You
host.
see, the road less, the easy road.
Because
I do it all the time. I'm the same.
I'm gonna do all my material that I have written today. Like I wrote this shit today. I'm gonna try it with you. So if I had to put all of these bits that I've tried all of the time to every single person, there will be no end to this thing, because it's every time I come, I just I'm doing a bit. This bit
Now, you see now. So let me throw a curveball at you. I feel like the curse of an artist is not understanding the currency that they trade in. So you know me, I've got lifestyle objectives. I've got a fro, I've got a bond, I've got I've got things I need to pay for. So at some point, I have to turn those ideas into currency. You know what I mean? So if I keep trying new stuff every week, that just means my jokes are cheap. You know what I mean? I say them once to an audience that paid $50, and then they're gone. Then I'm like, it took me so long to write this joke and to make this funny thing happen. This is my asset. This is what I sell. So I've got to sweat this and kind of let it work as hard as it can. And that's honestly the way my mind works, is that, jokes are so difficult to come by. But like Carv says, I don't write them down. I forget them. Yeah. Carvin sends me random messages after watching a comedy thing that I can't even remember. Hey, why don't do those jokes? I got to watch the thing to remember what jokes I did there.
Because I don't. It remembers the old bits. Like me, I remember.
It remembers the great bits. I'll give him that.
But that's the truth. It's like, for me, that's what also kind of frustrated me over the last 2 years. Like, when I think I started doing sets probably maybe a month before this whole lockdown started. I was like, not because I wanted to do sets, just because I wanted to start piecing together. Because if I want to do a one man, you got to piece it together. There's
100%.
too many things. I'm like, this is dope, because I do it once and I'm like, if I do it once and it works, I do it as a one-liner. You like this? Cool. For me, that's a gag. It goes in this bag here. Then tomorrow, I'm like, I keep, now the bag's full. I'm like, okay, cool. Now I'm going to make the bag into like a blanket. I'm taking all these pieces of material, I'm making a blanket, and we're going to all warm ourselves. It's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. But then it kind of got, now it's like slowed down. Like, even you saw, like, as soon as we could open, bro, it's like, we getting out. I'm phoning you all the time. I'm like, dude, we need to be in the world, because we need to get this thing. Because this thing, and as soon as the thing starts rolling again, people, Wet Lip comes back. Wet Lip starts the whole thing. 20,000 Wet Lips in Johannesburg, in the whole country. Then they spoil it for everybody. Now it's like, okay, cool.
No, it's so that's why in my mind, I've parked live until I can. I'm looking at a couple of tricks, clever ways to maybe do some things, but it will kill me if I think about what a travesty it is, and I'll just be a morbid, depressed person. So I can't. I've got to just keep myself too busy to worry.
Yeah, but it's always a surprise though, because like 2 weeks ago we were doing gigs. Do you know what I mean? So
No, you see, but this is my problem. It's for me. It was never a surprise because we've got data that shows what's going to happen. So when they went to this thing is no longer an epidemic in Wuhan, it's a pandemic, it's global. Then I went to, okay, what happens when there's a pandemic? Because this is a big word. This means this thing is cross borders and it is growing. Then I went to go and read. The first wave is generally going to be 50% of the second wave, is generally going to be 50% of the third wave. And then from waves 4, 5, and 6, that's when you start seeing diminished growth. Then it took me very quick to be realistic about the fact that this thing is here. It's been, what is it? Every 6 months we have a wave. So if every 6 months we have a wave, in my brain, I got to go, it's at least 3 years before we can properly put effort in. Otherwise, we're going to keep having that breaking momentum, which just keeps crushing our souls and discouraging us even more. So then I'm just like, this thing is going to be here for 3 years. Let me find something to keep myself busy and keep my debit order safe for 3 years.
Yeah, but when I say it's a surprise, I mean like I'm saying within our country that we don't make a move. Do you know what I mean? We don't. It's like, okay, there's a problem coming. There's 2,000 people. There's a problem. There's 3,000 people. There's a problem. There's 7,000. Now we're on 20,000. But it's a long time between. Because at one point we were down, brothers, 900, 700, 600. We were doing okay. Then we're like, then for us, I mean, the thing is, I'm bang.
Yeah.
I'm bang. It might not appear that way to people like you. Like, but do you know what I mean? We've walked amongst gangsters and people who's there, but we walked there. We walked with the same confidence. Even though we were scared, we didn't have to show it. We had to go there. We had to walk through there. But at the end of the day, we're all scared. I don't want to get sick. But I also I don't want anybody to get sick as well.
Now that's the problem. I've been sick, and I don't want anybody to worry about themselves. I want everybody to worry about someone's granny. Even if you don't have a granny anymore, if you had a granny, you know how important grannies are. Don't worry, don't do it for yourself. Do it for someone's granny. Someone that's going to be taking the parking ticket after you took your parking ticket. Somebody that's going to be touching the door after you touched the door. They got a granny. Think about their granny. Do it for their granny.
Do it for your granny.
Do it for someone's granny.
Sounds weird.
Come on.
But now
grannies are lovely, man. We need grannies.
Yeah,
we do without grannies.
All the secrets. So we're going to. We all going to sit now. We're gonna like those 2 weeks that they've imposed on us. It's gonna be 2 weeks or whatever, and then we're going to have to wait like you're saying. It's not. I don't know. I'm even calling it waves. They should just call it. It's one thing. It's one thing.
Let's call it the Pacific.
It's the thing. It's not like it's a new wave. It's not a new wave.
It's the
new wave.
It's
tomorrow we listen to hip hop music. That's a new wave. You know, today we listen to dance music. Tomorrow we listen to dance music with a faster beat. It's the same wave, just faster. So they're fooling us into like the sense of oh shit, this is all new, brother. Hey, I know we're gonna get political. Let's rather carry on with our lives, bro.
You know, whenever somebody wants to get political with me, I always go, instead of focusing on the things I don't have, I remind myself every day that I experience the best of Africa by far. Yeah. South Africa. We forget we're third world. We forget we're in Africa. Go into any country other than ours, and you're immediately grateful for the little that we do have. Yeah. Then I just get through it by reminding myself, hey, at least we live in number one on the continent.
Yeah, because like, bro, I actually said this other day. Like, my parents are obviously in Australia, bro. They haven't been wearing masks for at least a year.
They don't wear masks. They don't wear masks for the racism anymore. They just fight clean in the world to get racist attacks at them. Your parents are just, your parents look like you. There's no racism for that. I will take a South African government with the racism that, yes, the world is too racist for me. I like South Africa. South Africa is lovely.
But the thing is, bro, I would do anything to not, like I said the other time, like I wish I was in Australia. Like I never thought I'd say that. Like I
still don't say it. I
could just get up and go. Even Wet Lip can talk to me straight.
I'm gonna say this off the record. I met a very wealthy Bali once. He sells munitions to many governments in the world, except South Africa. And I said to the Bali, but Bali, if you make so many millions and billions, from other countries. Why do you even live here? You sell to the Australian government. And he said, my boy, I enjoy first world amenities with a bit of third world thinking. And I said, what do you mean? He said, in Australia, when I get pulled off for doing speeding, that's the end of the conversation. I am either getting a fine or being arrested. In South Africa, we can still talk about these things.
True.
We can still talk. So he was like, I like first world things in a third world setting. Sometimes is the win. I was like,
No, but for
that's
real,
some fair
though,
points, Pali.
that is a fair point. But yes, yeah, probably if you get like we're the only ones who wait till 20,000. Carbon is Joburg as bad as it sounds in the news. I tell you the
Oh.
truth, the people be panicking. So, for example, the other week it was 17,000, like 2 weeks ago. Then I do my own. I'm my own Deborah Petter. So I I jump in the car. I go to Parkhurst. I go up to Ravonia. I go to Melrose Arch.
You will spy on the people.
And I look, I'm like, look at them there in what's it? That milk and honey. Packed. I go past the Parkers, bruh. The people are packed. When I say
That Jolly
packed,
Roger section, people are in the street, overflowing into the street.
I'm looking at them, I'm like, what is going on with these people?
They're
So
not worried about your grannies. Those people don't care about other people's grannies.
bad part is they're calling this thing COVID fatigue, but it's just actually people that are fucking dickheads. Carbon's coming next weekend. You're the only O who travels this much during a pandemic, because you're getting Voyager.
Cars is immune. Cars is immune. Corona wears a mask for Carbon, I'm telling you.
Bro, and this new one now, apparently the mask doesn't even help. The mask doesn't help. So there are false positives. They're all false positives. They're all in province. The other day I went up here to, there's a new
Please do not let me live in a world where Rishlu Banwa is the face of COVID and he's the one talking the facts. Do not listen to Rishlu. Wear your mask. If the 20,000 infections a day are real, the hospitals are overwhelmed. He's going to look in Parkhurst to see sick people. He should be going to Paraguana to see sick people. Do not let Rishlu influence you badly.
The thing is, I'm reading. I read, you know that. So I'm
Do
like,
not, please. I read 20,000. I've had the Parkhurst. I should what 20,000? No, do
look
not.
at Parker. Go look at Parker.
We must be responsible.
Look
Don't go to Parkhurst. That's the problem. So many people went to look. When you drive into that road, you just get thirsty. No, stay away from thirsty street in
I
Parkhurst.
replaced the filters on my vehicle, new filters on the outside, new filters, everything is sorted. But it's like, it makes me sad that I'm like, you guys don't. Okay, fair enough. You want to sit with your friends and drink on a road, but why do that? Like, I would love to come and sit by your house and have a drink with you, or anyway, any of my friends since 2019.
19.
Do you know what I'm saying, bro? And I have nice friends. I don't mind. I like these guys. I've chosen them as my friends, but I've had to not see them so that you can carry on doing your life. You know what I mean? Let's all do that there
For your granny.
For your granny. And then Coven. I don't know what Coven's coming for, bruh. Coven, what you coming for? Cause let me go do it. I'll give you a stipend. I'll send you a total. Coven. The Jachri in the Papa, that's what they call it. Jachri in the Papa means chasing the money.
Guilty as charged.
So yeah, bruh, I know you. What time are you waking up tomorrow?
I don't know. It's a pandemic. I'll wake up when I'm finished sleeping tomorrow.
Oh,
my dogs need to go out.
You're not running out. You're not running
Eh?
out any. You know who do you know who do right?
No, I finished in April, so I have my mornings back, thank God. And yeah, no, I'm very happy, and I'm going to sleep. I think my first meeting is at like 10, so I'll wake up when I'm finished sleeping.
What time were you on radio? What time did you leave home for radios?
I'm supposed to leave home at about 4:30, but I'm mostly left home at 5.
Because you have to cook. So let's
Yep. Can't hit the road before you drop your droppables. You must uproot your plutables before you can leave the house. You can't be taking yesterday's chows on the road.
we got stuck into this COVID thing, and we didn't explore the fact that we travel so much. But like we went on the road, we did a national tour, we went to Grahamstown a couple of times, and like the crazy things, but like people don't get an insight into road, like being on the like literally getting into a vehicle with a bunch of people who. But we have this thing. It's like we don't care. We're going now. The thing is, all the things that you value in your life, and all of your values and your family things. When you jump into a vehicle with five other people, it becomes a democracy. Like,
yes, you alone. Obey the rules of this new land.
But I'm gonna wake up in the morning to pray. We don't care.
Yeah, but you're the worst influence. You're the one that doesn't care the most. You always the one. Let's eat one more. Alexei, come on. Why you like that? Why you always like that?
Like, but I remember, like we went to Grahamstown. We were staying for the people. We went to Grahamstown, right? And we stayed in these people's house. So it's like we seconded the house. You know the thing we used to second the house. So when we came to the house, it was like an Airbnb, but there was still kind of. It's like they just left him.
That one was just a PNP. Let's not put him in the air. That one was just a PNP. That one was like air.
It's like they literally just walked out the house before we walked. I think they
were still there. The auntie was like, I'm in the bath quickly. And then she saw our cooler box and said, hey, but I mean, I don't have to bath. Why don't pour me a shot? Pour me something. I'm a bit thirsty. Auntie.
Yo, dude, and we lived in the house, and we people didn't even I was the one who noticed that the panties were hanging in the. Because the thing is, I don't like the hanging panties, and the panties were changing every day. Remember that? And I came in the morning and I said, "Whose panties are those?" And like all the girls were like, "No," because there's like a few girls in the house, and they're all like, "No." And I'm like, "But every day there's new panties, not the same panties." So those people are coming to shower. When we leave to gigs and shit, they come in there, they quickly shower themselves, hang their panties.
They were really doing that,
and we won. But probably like that was the one time you and I. We showed up. We hung our what you
Listen,
call it?
You and I are often the last man standing. We hung our own panties. Us, you and me.
What they call it? We nailed our panties to the mast.
Yeah, Dad. Listen, I'm old now. There's no need for all of that.
Because everybody would be like, it's like they're all yawning. Because remember we were all hanging out in the kitchen. It was all cool times. Everybody, and it slowly but surely would fade away. And it just has to be sitting there. And then you're like, bruh, it's 3:45.
While I'm drinking Old Brown and Richley is saying, oh, sipping on the obese, looking obese. Wasn't funny then. It's not funny now.
Like I laugh to myself every time I think about how I gave you up to the spirits. Like, you know, like I thought there was a ghost coming through. I don't even believe in ghosts, but that day, there was a ghost coming through over there. So Jason, we're staying in the house, right? And on the wall, there's a picture of a man, and that was the man who loved it, and he died. But there was a bad picture. Like if I had to die,
can I just say that you see the way he's talking about this poor late man is the same way he was talking shit about this Bali. This Bali got roasted from our first night. We didn't even give respect to this poor man's house. This late man, we didn't give respect. Richla was roasting at Bali. You know when people are pointing out in and I'm talking about the first generation color photos. The first, before even that flash on top, where they're like, this Bali was so oily. No one could have told him they could have wiped. Now this Bali's living there. You only see him oily. The Bali's still oily. So we were teasing this Bali for a good 4 days before a lonely drunken night. Was 3 a.m. Richlu and I get past our sorrows, and then I will allow you to finish the story now that they know the truth. You had first agitated the spirits.
So good night, Shanaz. Sleep tight.
Shanaz, I must also go sleep. He's holding me hostage. Past my bedtime.
So we standing in the kitchen, myself and Jay, as we usually were. Like we're there like a week, right? So it's like 4 or 5 days, and we usually the last 2 standing there. And we're chatting, but now Jason is going hard on this Bali. Going hard on this. He's talking about how oily. He's talking and when he said Bali never have in this picture, the Bali had no shirt on. So he's standing with but he's literally really oily, right? And Jay's like, yeah, I could have tuned up. Hey, when you die, we might use this picture, yeah, put a chat on or
You are
something.
lying. Richlu said, I'm sure when they run out there, they just rub the Polly's picture on the pan to fry an egg. You just rub the picture on the pan. Richlu got no manners, bruh.
Yeah,
You
but
don't
we
have
had,
manners.
yeah, dude. And we're killing ourselves with laughter, right? But now Nina was with us at the time, eh? Nina
I
was
think so.
standing there, but she wasn't feeling it because it was not right what was going on. And then Nina walked out, and we were standing in the kitchen. And the kitchen was one of those ones that have a door, so the kitchen is closed now. So him and I, so everyone in the house is sleeping, and we're standing in the kitchen laughing and still laughing about this, man. And then I just heard the sound, that old school door when it starts creaking, but not fast. The door went, and I sort of door. Did you see, Jay? I told you.
You kicked it. You were almost out the room by the time you said that. You left me to deal with the spirits by myself.
I was like, it's this. I'm like, you see, I told you, don't talk about it. Yo, bro, like that day, I was like, say we pass it all, but yo, if someone is to come into the life, we can stand. But this thing here, that moving the door, no, one day.
Can't fight spirits. Can't fight spirits.
After that, I think we should go sleep now, eh? It's a good time now. Now it's sleep
Immediately. Probably we went to bed sober.
Yeah, everything, whole day, from topping in the morning, whole day gone. All our OB is gone. Like, but anyway, let's wrap it. Let's wrap it. It's been good. It's been good to chat with you, cuz.
It's always good to chat to you, my friend. It's always good to chat to you.
It's been a pleasure. You're gonna be sitting at home for the next 2 weeks, and then after that, obviously back into what you know. I don't know, but they're still sending costings and stuff, so I don't know. But there's still things
Yeah.
obviously.
No. There's things. I'm trying to push everything out. I'd really like to just treat it as level 5. Just I just don't want to get it, and I just think it's a bit crazy out there at the moment. So for me, if you can stay at home, stay at home. That's what I plan to do. Other than that, I think I'm gonna try and chill and pretend to be busy. So I don't have to answer people's phone calls. But other than that, I'm gonna chill.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, man. So in closing, I just want to say firstly, thank you for your time, cuz, and thank you to everybody. You guys are here every single week. You guys hang out. You'll make it a vibe. Thank you for hanging out. We'll be here next week. Hopefully, I'll get Celeste if she doesn't want to come. I don't know. I'll just hang out by myself, or I'll just find somebody else. But Celeste, you know the story. Get your story ready for next week. Jay, thanks again, brah. So I don't know if you got any plans. We can't have any plans right now. I'm gonna tap you on the DMs because I got some things I need to do. And like I'm saying, next week Thursday I'll be back at 10 p.m. In closing, thank you. Is that your fro?
Yeah.
Tell her I said hi.
This is hi. She's got her earphones and listening to us talk kake.
Okay. Hello.
Oh, she just said hello now. The delay. Hello.
So thanks again. Thanks again to everybody. Like I said, we're back next week. We'll keep the vibe going, and hopefully Jay and I can get Jay, and we can start doing some crazy things. But like he's saying, it's only going to be in another.
You know what I like is, my friend, is we're gonna survive, and when this thing's over, we're gonna do all the things that we've been dreaming of doing and more. But first, we're gonna survive, and yeah. So first, we're gonna survive, and we've been surviving. So let us survive. This thing will pass, and when it does pass, we got jokes. Hey, we got jokes, guys. We've been thinking about things. We have been thinking about things. We've got jokes. Don't worry, we've got jokes. We're coming.
That's the weird thing. I started writing because I thought it was over, but damn. But now I write. I'm back into writing, which is dope. Carbonated Goldstone, you can hit me up when you're around, but let's have a conversation. Thanks for hanging out.
Likewise, Carbs, if you do come down to Joburg, hit me up.
Thanks for the questions, everybody. I'll see you next week. Peace, salute, away. Keep safe, stay warm.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Durban, don't stay warm. Stay cool. Yeah.
Stay dry, Durban.
Wear masks, sanitize. And in closing, beware of the wet lips. They will kill you. Away.